The first thing my mother did when she stepped into my penthouse was walk straight to the windows. She didn't greet me, didn't comment on the elevator ride or the quiet hallway outside. She just stood there, hands clasped loosely in front of her, looking out at the skyline like she was inspecting something that belonged to her. My brother followed a few steps behind her. He nodded at me once, almost politely, and sat down on the couch without saying anything. That alone made me uneasy. My brother was not a quiet man. He filled rooms with jokes, complaints, opinions. Silence didn't fit him well. But that afternoon he was quiet. My mother turned from the glass slowly, letting her eyes travel across the living room, the furniture, the shelves, the wide open space. "You've done well for yourself?" she said. Her voice was calm, reflective almost. I thanked her. I kept my tone neutral. She didn't sit right away. Instead, she took a slow walk through the room, touching the back of a chair, glancing at the kitchen island. It felt less like visiting and more like evaluating. Then she finally sat across from me. My brother shifted beside her, but kept his eyes on the floor. There's a certain rhythm to conversations like this. If you grew up in the same house I did, you learn to recognize it early. First comes praise, then concern, then the request. "We've been worried about the tension in the family," my mother said. I waited. "You and your brother barely see each other anymore." My brother gave a soft shrug, like the subject embarrassed him. My mother continued carefully, the way someone does when they've rehearsed something. "Success changes people sometimes. It creates distance." The penthouse suddenly felt like the fourth person in the room. I leaned back in my chair. "I'm not sure what that has to do with tension." She folded her hands. "Your brother is going through a difficult period." There it was. The beginning of the request. She spoke gently, as if explaining something obvious. "He made a few financial decisions that didn't work out." My brother nodded slowly, playing his role. I noticed he still hadn't looked directly at me. "But families support each other," she continued, "and sometimes keeping the peace requires sacrifice." I stayed quiet. Silence can make people uncomfortable. My mother has never liked silence, so she filled it. "You have this place," she said, gesturing around the room. "It's beautiful. But it's also a lot," I repeated, "for one person." My brother cleared his throat. "We were thinking," he said carefully, "maybe selling it could solve a few problems for everyone." The sentence hung in the air. Temporary sacrifice, shared responsibility, family peace. The language was soft, but the expectation underneath it was clear. Sell the penthouse. Fix his problem. I studied them both. My mother was watching my reaction closely. My brother stared at the coffee table like it might give him instructions. A strange memory surfaced in my mind. Growing up, peace in the family always meant the same thing: someone had to give something up. Usually me. The room went quiet again. My mother misread the silence. She leaned forward slightly. "You owe your brother," she said. Not loudly, not angrily, just as a statement of fact. The word "owe" echoed softly in the room. I felt something shift inside me, not anger exactly, more like clarity. Because the truth was, I already knew. 2 weeks earlier, a message had landed in my inbox by accident. A financial alert connected to an old shared contact my brother had never updated. A loan notification. $150,000. And a line about recent activity tied to a casino across the river. I didn't mention it then. I simply watched the information settle into place. Now I looked at them both again. My brother's shoulders were tight. My mother was waiting for compliance. So I smiled slightly. Not in a dramatic way, just polite, and I asked, calmly, "You mean the $150,000 he spent at the casino?" The effect was immediate. My brother's head snapped up. For the first time since they arrived, he looked directly at me. My mother blinked. Just once. The confidence in her posture loosened by a few degrees. "What are you talking about?" she said. Still calm. But the rhythm of her voice had changed. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse anyone. I saw the loan alert. I said simply. Silence returned. But this time it was a heavier kind. My brother leaned back slowly, rubbing his face with both hands. My mother turned toward him. "You told me that was private." He didn't answer. Another few seconds passed. Then my brother's phone buzzed loudly on the couch between us. He glanced down at it. Unknown number. He flipped the phone face down. The room felt smaller now. My mother tried to recover the conversation. "Everyone makes mistakes," she said quietly. I nodded. "That's true." Her eyes searched my face, trying to find the version of me she expected, the one who would soften, compromise, surrender something to restore order. But that version of me had stopped existing somewhere along the way. "This place isn't available," I said, not defensively. Just clearly. "It's my home." Another buzz from the phone. My brother ignored it again. My mother sat back slowly, studying me in a way she hadn't before. Not as a child. Not as the youngest voice in the room. But as someone she could no longer move with a few carefully chosen words. The visit ended soon after that. No shouting. No dramatic confrontation. They stood up, gathered their coats, and walked toward the door in a quiet that felt unfamiliar to all of us. My brother's phone buzzed again as he reached the hallway. This time he answered it. He spoke in a low voice while my mother waited beside the elevator. I didn't try to listen. I simply stood near the window again after they left, looking out over the city. Somewhere out there, my brother still owed someone a lot of money. And somewhere between childhood and this moment, the rules of our family had changed. The penthouse was still mine. But the real difference wasn't the apartment. It was the silence I was finally willing to keep.